Oh man, I am really excited about this video today because I finally get to show off the new gaming setup in the studio, the new build, some new audio gear, and I couldn't be happier with how all this came together. This is a great example of what it means when people say make your own luck, because SecretLab happened to see my studio tour video that I dropped a few months back, and firstly they were like, hey, it's cool that you're using our chair, but it's 4 years old, can we send you a new one? Which, sure. But they also clowned my complete lack of cable management and said they had something that would help solve that problem regardless of how bad I am at managing cables. That's a bold stance because I hate it. And all this kind of happened around the same time that I'd been brainstorming a new set design for the studio. My gaming desk changes constantly because I'm always reviewing new products, so it never really feels like my setup. It's always in some temporary state. And when I'm filming products for a video, I like to go from this to this to this because I think it keeps things visually interesting. So the main room is really warm, sunny, a lot of brick, a lot of wood tones, but I wanted something that's like the polar opposite. Something dark, moody, really motivated by artificial light. So listen, this video is sponsored by SecretLab today. Now if you know me, you already know the deal, but if this is your first time watching the channel, I just don't take sponsorships on stuff that I wouldn't absolutely recommend to my own close friends and family. If I wasn't completely impressed by the build quality and the design of what I'm about to show you today, I just wouldn't make the video. And I negotiated full editorial, which means I get to say whatever I want to, good or bad. I kind of hate that this video is sponsored today because I don't really have a lot of bad things to say. So what I did was transform part of the secondary room in the studio, which is just a large white box. I went with some black laminate slat wood with felt backing. It cost about $1,000 to treat this wall, so not cheap, but I needed something dark with simple geometry to add some texture to the background, and this worked out well. Instead of wrapping around the corner, I used one of these mounted acoustic panels to use as a blocker for certain camera angles. These are pricey, but they're really useful. So yeah, this is my new gaming setup to use when I'm not reviewing. Got a new gaming build back here, some of my high-end audio stuff that I never really talk about on the channel, a 32-inch OLED monitor. I'm not 100% sure which one's gonna live here permanently yet. This is currently the dual mode 240, 480 Hertz LG, which I'm just finishing up a video on, should be out pretty soon. If you have any questions over anything you see today that I don't talk specifically about, drop them in the comments. I'll do my best to point you in the right direction. The chair here is the 2024 Titan Evo XL. This is slightly larger than the 2020 Titan I've been using for a few years now. If you haven't seen the studio tour video, I use a SecretLab at my gaming desk in the main room, and I have a Herman Miller Aeron Type C that I use at my editing desk. After owning both of those for years, I honestly prefer the SecretLab chair because I can sit in it for a lot longer without getting lower back pain, and I've got pretty decent posture. I don't slump down in my chairs. Also because I can quickly adjust the armrest up or down a lot faster than my Herman Miller, which has to be unlocked from the rear and requires two hands. My 2020 version has held up amazingly well. I'm a little over 6'3" and weigh right at about 260 pounds. What's up, Bradley Martin? When you sit in these are not soft, squishy chairs. These are really firm and they break in over time. This just makes for more even distribution of pressure, so you don't get any pressure points the longer you sit there, and ergonomically, they just seem to work better for me. This larger XL version has a wider seat pan and wider bolstering in the shoulders, so even if I'm sitting back in it, it doesn't push my shoulders forward. This newer model's got a magnetic pillow now with a pretty solid range of adjustments. The armrests are removable now via some pretty strong magnets, and they have options. You can do standard, cooling gel, or like a velour. These newer versions offer 4-way lumbar support actually built into the chair as opposed to like an external cushion, so it looks really clean. I really appreciate this. Great lower back support. These are built extremely well. They go together really fast. They've got instructions that are easier than IKEA, and if this one holds up the way my older version did, I'll be using this one for years to come. My current peripheral loadout is the Wooting 60HE. No real surprise there. Very customized at this point. The Riz Doodles collab pad from La Onda and Nacho Customs, which is an insane combination of words. The mouse is the Razer Viper V3 Pro, which yes, I am maining, and we'll talk about that in an upcoming video. Audio for gaming is still mainly the Audeze Maxwell. The centerpiece of all of this is the Magnus Pro XL desk from SecretLab, and this is easily the best designed and executed take I've seen on a sit-stand desk yet, and I'm obsessed with sit-stand desks because they make filming so much easier. Not counting this one, I have 4 here in my studio and 1 in my home, all of them from Uplift Desk. Years ago, they used to send me stuff, and even though I don't have a partnership with them anymore, I've just continued to buy their stuff. I used to have an entry-level FlexiSpot desk in this room too, but I gave it away. It was really wobbly, even in its full seated position, so that should give you kind of an idea of where I set the bar for quality. The first thing I did when I assembled the SecretLab desk was does this, and it's more stable than a couple of my uplift desks. I kind of remember hearing things about these when they very first launched, and I don't know if they've continued to make incremental improvements as they rolled out new batches, but stability was my biggest concern, and I don't really feel like I have anything to worry about here. If this had been really wobbly in its full seated position, it would have been a wrap right there, and this video wouldn't exist. All of these two-leg desk designs tend to get more unstable as you get to full standing height. This one's no exception, but it's comparable or better than my uplift desks. There's no side-to-side motion here, it's all front to back. If you just can't get with that and you need perfect stability even at full standing height, you're gonna need to investigate a 4-leg model. Those can get extremely expensive in motorized versions. This came packed really well too. The outside of the carton looked like it had really been through it, but everything inside was flawless. Really easy assembly too. It's like bolt on the legs, bolt on the feet, bolt on the cable tray, flip it over, and bolt on the hinged top for cable management. We'll come back to cable management in just a sec because it's major, but there's two things that really set this desk apart from other sit-stand desks I've looked at. One is integration, and two is magnets. With my other desks, you have a frame and then you have a flat desktop. So everything else you need, the control box, the wiring, the keypad, the power strip, all that stuff has to be attached to the desk. You can get a variety of add-on cable management options, but those too have to be attached to the desk. With this desk, everything is integrated into the design. The wiring, the control box is already there. The keypad, which normally hangs under the desk, is integrated into the desktop. There's no wiring hanging anywhere that needs to be managed. Just this alone is so clean. You get up and down 3 memory slots and a little safety switch that disables the keypad in case you have little ones around. The motors are really responsive, it moves fast, it holds up to 265 pounds, and it's quieter than my uplift desks. This is the XL version, so it measures 70 inches, just a little under 6 feet by 31.5 inches deep. The back 5 inches of that is a heavy-duty fold-down rear cover for the cable management tray. All the surfaces are powder-coated steel, even the back section, so technically you can utilize this space if you need to, if you've got a monitor with a stand that eats up a lot of desk, but I find it's best if you can leave it free to move. Getting power to everything on a sit-stand desk setup can be a little challenging. If your PC's on the desk, you'll need a really long power cable to go all the way to the floor. If your PC's on the floor, you'll wind up needing extension cables for all your peripherals. The monitors are almost always a challenge, especially when they have an external power brick. The way SecretLab has handled the power routing on this desk is brilliant. You just put your power strip and everything that needs to plug into it inside this included cable tray, and then it just plugs in to the end of the desk at the top. Then it's routed to the floor on the back of the left leg, where you have one really thick power cord that runs to your wall outlet. So that one visible connection is powering everything on the desk. The cable management here is you open up the tray, dump everything in it, and close the tray. That's it. This is the best cable management solution I've seen yet, both in terms of ease of use and in terms of overall cleanliness, not only on top of the desk, but underneath the desk as well. You don't have to be good at cable management to look like you're good at cable management. They've also got an optional PC mount that'll move your entire PC up and down with the desk. I obviously have my PC on the desk for this setup, which is why I opted for the wider desk, but it's great if you're tight on space. A lot of monitors, desktop speakers, lights, cameras, whatever. I was pretty skeptical that this really wide O11 dynamic with loads of glass would work, but here it is. The bracket has lots of soft touch surfaces to not damage the glass or the case. They've even got a solution to take your Ethernet cable from the floor to the cable tray at the top of the desk that moves with the desk as it moves up and down. And you can attach this to either leg because they've included a cutout here for the power cable. Back on top, we've got this optional MagPad desk mat. This is fully magnetic, so once it's in place on this desktop, it doesn't slide. This is the signature black colorway. It's leatherette, it's durable, it's easy to keep clean, and you can use whatever mouse surface you like on top of it. It can be a little tricky to get in place perfectly the first time, but they've got these little cover plates on either side that allow for a little margin of error. It had some waves near the edges when I first rolled it out, but it's relaxed a lot in the past couple weeks. Looks great. Unlike my really expensive hardwood desktops, if you do manage to tear this thing up over time, or if you just want a fresh look, you can just order a new pad. You don't have to order a completely new desktop. There's an optional diffused light strip here, which again is magnets, so no adhesive. If you've ever tried to move a stick-on light strip from one desktop to another, you know it never goes easy and it usually leaves a mess. This is powered by Nanoleaf, so it works in that ecosystem and you can just use the app on your phone. And we've got these little cable anchors here, and these are a game changer. I can count maybe, I don't know, hundreds of times that I've unplugged my keyboard or my mouse and the cable just pulls itself off the desk, falls behind it, and I gotta get on the floor to retrieve it. These just stick to the desk with magnets over the cable, and that never happens ever again. Absolutely love these. Wish I could get them in blue. They've got an optional aluminum headphone hanger, really heavy duty, also magnetic. They've got monitor arms in single or dual. I went with the single because I don't always use dual monitors. These install in 3 parts, so base, lower, and upper. These are rated up to 17.6 pounds. This one's holding that new LG dual mode OLED 32-inch. They have quick release plates for your monitors, and again are fully cable managed with, you guessed it, Magnets. Being a taller guy, I don't generally find that these articulated style of monitor arms get tall enough for me, but that's not the case here. These at max height measure 17.5 inches from the desk to the center of the bracket. Normally, if I need a little extra height for my display, I'll just pick up a desk riser. I bought this one from GroveMade for $270, and that price doesn't include this little tray. SecretLab has a riser too, and it's only 99 bucks. This one clamps to the desk instead of just sitting on it, so it's sturdy enough to mount 2 monitor arms, and it gives you almost 5 inches of extra height. Not only that, but it's deep enough to go almost flush with the rear of the desk and still allows for use of the cable tray cover. It's actually deep enough to accommodate most monitor stands if you don't like the idea of using an arm. It's got that same powder-coated metal top, so the cable anchors work up here too, and it leaves a lot of access to desk space under it. So this desk runs $799 for the standard version and $949 for the XL, and all the optional accessories come with an added cost. Versus Uplift at $729 and $809 for similar sizes, but they don't include any cable management. I mean, hopefully after all that, it's easy to see why that price premium is well worth it. I was continually impressed through this whole process, not only at the quality of the build, but the design and the execution. They really understand who they're marketing to here. This is not just a gaming product. This is a serious contender if you're in the market for a sit-stand desk. I honestly just couldn't be happier with how this all turned out. It really brought this space to life exactly like I'd envisioned it, and unlike my normal rotating gaming setup, this is always clean and camera ready, which makes it a lot easier to film stuff on a whim. I think it makes a really nice contrast from this warm, sunny front room. Huge thanks to SecretLab for helping all this stuff come together. Like I said, we will be diving into individual videos for a lot of the stuff I showed off today. It's gonna be a killer summer for content. That's it for today, and I will catch you all in the next one. Stay up.